Yo, good morning. What's going on? It's Wednesday, so we're going live with Coffee with Creators. I brought on Andrew Trost. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm hanging in there. We're gonna get into some cool stuff here, but before that, we're at 42 West 18th Street. That's the store. This is not green screen. Someone came all the way from Chicago for this. What's your excuse? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but feel free to swing by. Also, later today, 5 p.m., Emily Teague will be going live on the other channel talking about Capture One. So, you know, Emily.
I love Emily.
Actually, film them. Okay, we got stuff to talk
Emily.
about.
Cool.
Before we get going, I just want to say a huge thank you to, boom, Ari for sponsoring this. Everyone knows Ari.
Of course.
The legacy, the level
Yes.
that you reach with Ari.
Setting the bar.
I've seen Ari in your hands plenty of times.
Yeah.
It's in every rental house for a reason. Some of those iconic things have been filmed on Ari. I mean, you say Ari in this industry, there's nothing else needed to be said.
Basically,
much, yeah.
Sure. Reliable. You know,
yes.
that's why everyone loves it.
Yeah, they only change something when they have to.
Sure. And they'll wait. And they will wait. And they will wait. And that's fine. Listen, we are patient. We know that if they're going to do something, it's going to be good and it's going to be worth the time.
Oh my gosh. And a real quick one to Gotham Roasters, one block up. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah.
What'd you get?
This is a latte. I did ask for a hot, but
That's a Fernando error. Fernando,
I'm not that diva level yet that I can make a big stink about it.
No,
So
this is
actually refreshing on a nice hot day. So no shade on that. Yeah.
I don't understand the hot coffee on a hot day thing. I understand cold coffee on a cold day though.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you're in the mood for, it's fine.
Well, they're one block up on 19th Street. If you go there, say what's up, tell them Adorama sent you.
Yeah, are we not going to talk about the babka? Because I feel like every time, everything, it
What would
always
you
leads
do?
to the bod.
Look.
Both. The answer is both. Both.
I feel like I'll be diabetic by the end of
Why
the week.
deny yourself?
What? Because it's heavy. You ever eat a piece of babka? You're kind of done for the day.
Yeah, I guess you could say. Wait, have some in the morning, some in the afternoon, some at night. Don't go ham right at the beginning. Just do both.
They have two babkas there. One's cinnamon, one's chocolate, and I stare at both of them like I don't know what I'm going to do.
So good they are.
They are very good. Yeah, especially with coffee. Like, forget about it.
I think the real answer is 2-to-1. Like, I'll go chocolate twice, then I'll get a cinnamon, then kind of revert.
I think the play is to go with somebody, get both, cut them in half, and just do
there
it.
you go. Listen.
Yeah, actually, why don't you do that, Gotham? Do like a split one. Do like a 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah, a little mystery date sort of thing going on there. Yeah.
Let us know where you're at from the chat. Welcome to episode 26. Can you guys believe it? I wanted to pull up some of Andrew's work just so you guys have a sense of him. If you guys don't know who this is, you've actually seen a lot of his work through Adorama's channels because we've done short films like New York Rhapsody, which is the black and white film. You probably saw Vanessa Joy starring in it. It was all about creators and the hustle here in New York, and Gershwin was the soundtrack, and it was so New York. You did actually the Adorama commercial. You did a lot of the stuff for Adorama Music, I believe.
Yeah, and I think Rhapsody was supposed to be the commercial, and then it wasn't. Oh, what's that? Speaking of which, here.
I like how you bring your own mug.
This is where he lives.
But yeah, you've done a lot of work that you have seen if you're a fan of this channel for sure. I'm going to pull up his reel just so you guys get a sense of, first of all, I just want to say Andrew is ridiculously talented. I've watched him work. It's so precision, like it's no guesswork. He's really got a vision. He goes for it. And then he has the technical ability to back it up and just get it done, which is everything.
Thank you, man. That's really nice of you to say that. Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of other creatives to make all that happen, of course, but that's very nice of you to say that.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up your reel so that while we chat for a little bit.
Sure, yeah, go for it.
But you guys can see that, right? There's going to be no audio, but just so you're having a sense of how he sees things and how he captures things. Like, this is brilliant. And you can go to his Instagram and go check out the reel for yourself on his Vimeo, check out his website, stuff like that. I actually wanted to bring some things up because, yeah, you're technically sound. You've done beautiful work, obviously. We're seeing a bunch of stuff. There was something that happened on social that made me go, huh.
Man.
A while ago when The Whale came out, you posted the Darren Aronofsky film. First of all, great film. You posted, this is the kind of work I want to be a part of. Yeah. And then Darren Aronofsky flipped it and was like, thank you so much for that. That means a lot. Like, first of all, he didn't have to even acknowledge that, right?
True.
But what was it about that film that made you say, this is what I want to do? What is it?
Sure. Yeah, and it's that film and it's other films like it. I think it's just important for movies that are provocative to be out there, that are told creatively, that are challenging your perceptions, that are artistically driven. Like, those are the things that I'm excited about to see in the theaters, and to see filmmakers with energy to create, you know, like I think there's a tendency to kind of put yourself in the box the longer you're in the mix, you know, trying to make things. And I just appreciate when a filmmaker goes out there and just really imbues their story with just the things that I told you, like a lot of creativity, and it's kind of pushing you to think. And I just love that. And I think Aronofsky is one of those filmmakers that does that pretty much any film that he makes. He's not going to go halfway. It's always going to be serving you. It's vegetables, man. It's like, it's really good for you. You should go see those movies, and that's good for you. And it's,
I love Aronofsky. I mean, Pi, Requiem for a Dream changed my life as a kid.
Black
I mean, I was
Swan.
like Black Swan.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I'll throw shade. I don't care. M. Night Shyamalan giving you like a good one and then like what's going on with the rest. No, like you see his name on it, you know, one, it's going to be different than what he did, but it's going to be impactful, the way he sees things, the way he tells the story. But like when you're done watching an Aronofsky film, your brain just went through a roller coaster of like thought, not, spectacle.
Yes. I have a friend who says that this changes her on a chemical level.
Whoa.
And things like that. And I think I agree. It's like when you see a really great film or a great piece of art, like you do walk away from that changed. And I think that's what I strive towards. I always want to be a part of things like that. I want to be able to create things like that. But they're few and far between because I think people, again, put themselves in boxes, or the money people don't want you to do that because it's a risk, but you have to stay true to yourself. And I always greatly respect and admire people that do that. It's not easy.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things I remember is Guillermo del Toro, right? Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
And they told him everywhere, like, this will never sell. You can't put this out there. It better be in English. And he was like, watch me. And the iconography from that film, the character design became beyond the film.
Yeah.
And also Guillermo del Toro, like, forget about it, right?
Yeah.
It's very few and far between that you get a chance in the mainstream. People that aren't like film lovers that will actually go look for indie films, smaller theaters. It's very rare that they get to come to the forefront. Aronofsky's one of them, and then they get their shot, right? They get funded, and then the game plays of the money people going, well, how do I get my money back?
Sure.
How much are you going to spend to do this? But I think cinematography is one of those things that no matter what, you're going to have the camera and the operator there and the lighting and everything. Like that is where the quality level can go up without telling the money people, hey, I need a giant set. Sure. Hey, I need all these things.
Yeah, there's definitely ways that you can change whatever story from any level, production design or the wardrobe or the lighting, anything. But truly, I believe that none of us in the industry do our best work without a great director. Like you just need somebody who's going to go to bat for you, who's thinking in the right ways about how they're going to tell their story.
Yeah, but I think a lot of this is everything's relationships, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, there's your body of work, but people go with who they know can deliver and be there on time and get it done in the manner they want.
And they think the same as you. It's like there's a reason that a filmmaker will stay with a group of creatives throughout their career because you speak the same language.
Yeah.
You've had the same goals. I think, it's like the Coens and Roger Deakins. Like that's the gold standard for like who could we be,
What are we going to do when there's no Roger Deakins around? What
are we
gonna
man,
do?
I don't even stop it. I don't want to think about it.
Does he ever stop like shocking the snot out of you with like how he sees it and how he goes for it?
And just his, what do I want to say? He's just, he's beyond legendary, but his commitment to education and community,
the next gen,
he's really on top of making sure that he's sharing that knowledge. And I got to say, I'm going to give you another shout too, because I don't know how often this happens for you. So I got to say, I just generally appreciate you and what you do because you do a similar thing. Like, you're sharing knowledge, you're creating and you're maintaining a community. It's not easy to do. Not everyone does that. But when you're working in a creative industry where only part of it is tech-based, right?
Right.
Like you have to know, like, what is the aperture and how do you light and all these different things. But
this much, guys.
It's so small. I mean,
we get it. You know how to do it. Cool. Now what?
Now what? Now what are you going to do with it, right? But it's so easy to feel like alone or siloed because you want to make sure that you don't appear like you don't know what you're doing. But how do you learn? And not everyone's going to be lucky to have a mentor who's going to walk them through.
Or take that time.
Yeah, of course. So it's cool that you have all your channels and all the things that you're working on that are kind of, accelerating that for a lot of viewers that may not have the opportunity to get on a set or shadow someone, or they just have to watch it and kind of hope that they figure it out.
No, first of all, thank you. I'm a firm believer that there is no industry without community.
100%.
But there is so many, we were just talking about before, like there's so many people that are out there that'll never get to a set or whatever. And I was coming up in an era where you had to carry someone's bags till they showed you something. You had to get to that set and mop the floor. Like you had to be there and assist.
Damn.
And now I got
mop the floor.
Daylight Studios that are all white.
Wow.
Come on.
I mean, yeah, maybe. So we're like slightly different worlds, right? Like photo, maybe that's, I don't know, mopping floors. I don't know that that's it.
I worked for Viacom a long time ago, and I used to have to paint the cyc wall neon green to white white to neon green. And I used to dump the bucket out and use a broom to just push it around until it was green again.
Yeah.
Those are, you've done that kind
You
of
earned
stuff.
your stripes. Yeah.
Yeah, but
you're in the trenches.
But
yeah.
the kid that sits here, it's a different era.
Yeah,
They pick up a camera that does way more for a fraction of the cost. It's accessible. Now, how do you use it? Well, YouTube, right? And then they go and do some project, and they self-publish now.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're making a career from nothing, right? You're saying, I am thing, and I'm going to do said thing, and then you're just kind of known that way. It's an easy way to not get pigeonholed. But I will say that you need to have discipline on where you're gathering your knowledge from, which is, again, why I appreciate what you're doing, because there's so many channels that don't know what they're talking about.
Well, you're part of it now, homie. Like, so watch what you say. I mean, what you want to say. Really, I mean, the ethos of the show is to kind of get some spotlight on people that I feel probably would never get a chance to even say what they're doing, but they're doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
Some kid out there is trying to do what you're doing right now.
Right. And to the point of somebody like Aronofsky, it's like at this stage when you're doing it, try everything. Like, don't put yourself in a box, because somebody's going to do that for you later. So you might as well just try to do things as creatively as possible. Think laterally about what you're doing, and make your statement something that people can respond to. I guess.
I think that's the hardest part, is to find a point of view, find a style, and then develop it. Because
still doing that.
Everybody always is, but I think you're at a place where you've done so many different things for other people that you start picking, like, actually that was a cool style.
Well, I think it comes down to taste. I mean, my little pet theory is that every great artist, that even if they're iconoclastic or whatever, more often than not, like 90% of them is just great taste. Like, sure, there's talent and there's skill and there's like a technical thing there, but most of it's just having great taste. And I think as you go, you just learn what your taste is, and then it's about maybe emulating that, but then you grow out of that and maybe try something different and try something that's more you.
Yeah, it's one of those things I don't think you can actually teach. It either hits for people or it doesn't. Aesthetics.
Sure.
Right? There's so many films out there that you can argue whether it was written right or whatever, but then you just go, it was so amazing to experience one way or another, whether it was visually, whether there was things that resonated with you narratively, but then the film overall just didn't hit, but then you take that and you go, well, what could I go from here to make my own thing, and blah, blah, blah. There's so many people now that, I mean, you could take your phone and look, what was his name? Baker did everything with his phone.
Sean Baker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Tangerine. Great film. Love that. Yeah.
Nothing stopped that guy. Yeah. Right. And we hear all the time, like, well, I don't, no. You stop you.
Sure.
Yeah.
You'll self-edit. It's the easiest thing, because it's like you're in a state of rest, right? So it's easier to stay that way than it is to push yourself. But I will say, as much as I love Tangerine, and while I think there was a real creative thought process on using the phone, because you could have used anything else, but that story is great.
Yeah.
It's told, again, creatively, and it kind of changes your brain chemistry a little bit when you're watching it. It has emotional resonance. It's all these other things that are intangible. You can't necessarily teach that. It's an instinct almost.
I think you have to choose your gear as an application. So, like, for example, a lot of people are shooting, like, for in my world, on-camera flash, like really hard paparazzi style. But the viewer then goes, this is authentic. This is what it's not polished. I believe it. And they're connected to it more. So did they need to over polish it? Was that a separation point? There's plenty of films that I feel over stylized things.
Sure.
And you feel the ego of the cinematographer, and you're like, I get it. You can use cool lenses. I want to connect here.
Yeah. It's, that's so tough. And I think it's really easy to get lost in the sauce of like what you're using, right? Because you think that, oh, if I use these lenses or if I use this camera, it's really going to elevate the thing. But the ideas are really the thing that's more important behind that, right?
Yeah.
I kind of encourage everyone to go check out. I'm gonna balk on the year. I don't remember what year it was, but Von Trier had his old Dogma 95 era of making films, and he was putting limitations on himself. And Thomas Vinterberg made a film called Festen, The Celebration.
Okay.
And the idea behind it was you make a film, but you have to use practical location, and you can only use what you find in that location. You have to use a handy cam, and you have to use it in your hand. Only if there's any music, it has to come from the scene, in the scene. It's like all these restrictions that he put on his group of friends, and Vinterberg made this incredible film called The Celebration. Everyone should watch it because it'll flip your brain on what do I need to tell a story. They didn't need much of anything to make something really evocative.
Yeah.
And
I also think that there's a generational thing happening right now where people that are raised with all these options and tools almost get daunted, and they go, well, if I can do anything, what do I do? But if you give them this,
right,
they'll do this. Amazing.
The limitations are freeing.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of people are shooting film again. I think there's a lot of, that's one reason. Don't jump down my throat, please. All right. And Ari, hey, props to Ari for keeping Ari Flex alive with the film.
Yeah.
Sure.
I
always think when people tell me that they need this gear to create this, I always think, are you just trying to find an excuse application for that gear? I think about Barry Lyndon all the time.
Yeah.
Where he used those NASA lenses that were super shallow depth of field and candlelight.
Yeah.
But those scenes, I still see them in my head.
Yeah.
It wasn't about, well, that lens has a cool bokeh.
Yeah. It's the technical thing just helped them achieve the idea that was already there, which was we want to see this tense scene play out in high society lit by candlelight. So how do we do that in that era? That was the only way to do it. But we're just the same, man. I think about Barry Lyndon all the time too.
Yo, I used to have, this is so crazy. I used to have the Stanley Kubrick VHS set.
VHS set?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was a kid that had that. I remember, and I had it right next to my Die Hard trilogy VHS set.
Oh my God. Yes. One's this and one's this.
Oh,
but
Killing. I mean, all of it.
You have a favorite?
I'm always partial to Full Metal Jacket because it feels like two movies in one. I can actually watch the first half and actually stop and be like, I just saw an awesome movie.
Yeah. And then move on. Yeah. I feel that. It's interesting because I think when you have a filmmaker that has such a wide variety of what they do, but they're also extremely talented, I kind of look at it like, what one do I think is the best one and which one is my favorite?
Out of their catalog, you mean?
Yeah, it's like there's a best and there's my favorite, you know? But Kubrick, man. We could talk for the rest of the time about that dude if you want. But
look, I'm a big Scorsese guy.
Sure.
I'm New York born and raised, so but I always see the dice shot from Casino in my head. I always see the scene where Joe Pesci was about to get made, but he wasn't made. I see all these things from him. And what I love about him is like, he really loves the history of certain things that actually happened. Yeah. And he finds a way to still stylize it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Uniquely him, everything. He's a master, man. Yeah. Do that.
What do you feel is like your Mount Rushmore of directors if you had to pull it together?
Oh man.
I know it's tough, but we're in there.
Can we do like Living to make it easier? Like Living, or I don't know, because it's like a long, I'll tell you what, so David Lynch has probably been the most inspiring.
You either like him or you don't, I feel. Lynch, some people cannot get into it.
And that's fine. Yeah. I mean, it's, it's I don't know if it's an acquired taste necessarily, but my first time watching Mulholland Drive in a basement, 16, like too high, you know what I mean? Like that was like, what am I? I've never seen anything like it.
Was the song Candy Coated Clown? Was that Hopper was always listening to?
Oh, in Blue Velvet.
Yeah. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
See, you remember
another great one. Yeah. But there's these pairings too. Like I think David Lynch and Peter Deming, his DP, they're perfect for one another. Yeah. And then I think I can't get away. I know there's like a level of film school pretension to it, but I can't avoid it. I love Bergman, and I think Bergman and Sven Nykvist are just like the greatest duo to ever have done it at the volume they did it.
Prolific.
Prolific, man.
Yeah. Now, do you ever get into a new project and worry about your chemistry with a director? Do you ever just want to direct?
I actually, when I moved here, that's what I thought I was going to do. Okay. Like I went to film school and I did that whole thing. I made a bunch of short films, and that's kind of how I found this as like a passion, just
Okay.
like excited to do it in high school, and even before that, just making stupid home movies. But I'm moved here with the impression that that's what I was going to do. Like I was going to write and I was going to direct, but in college and right out of, I just always found myself so excited to shoot other people's projects because I was kind of fascinated about cinematography. And at some point, I think I realized that I don't have the nerves to be a director.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
way too insecure for that. Like there's no way.
Even if you were just making something with friends.
Oh, well, that's different. I mean, there, you're making something with friends and it's a group effort and maybe it's just going to play at like the local film festival. Okay, there's still nerves there and I'm still super insecure, but that's different than saying like, okay, I'm going to take the time and I'm going to take, all my savings and I'm going to really express myself. And I'm going to put that in front. I'm going to, what's that?
You're going to clerks it?
Yeah. Well, you're going to, credit cards and all these other things. And then you're going to express yourself. And that's a piece of you, which, again, a reason why I admire directors is they're putting themselves out there.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to respect that. But then for that to come back and maybe it doesn't work or people don't want to see it or you're a failure or whatever, I'm way too insecure for that. Yeah.
There's a lot of variables that people don't realize going to a film that your name is stamped on it, but it's like, yeah, but we ran out of budget here. But they told us we have 1 month left to shoot.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that they still came through with a finished piece. Like you got to give respect to that.
Yeah. I can look at anything as a film critic, right? I've been steeped in this world long enough that I can critically look at anything and say it's great for this reason or it's not great for this reason, whatever. And we can get to the nitty gritty about it. But for being in this industry for 14 years, any movie I see is an achievement. I don't care how bad you think it is or how whatever. It's an achievement because it's so hard to do. It's so hard to get a film made.
How many pieces there are to it? And
oh God. And it falls apart like that.
And how many never made it to the finish line?
100%.
Or people that just ghosted and flaked on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or
because of that
got pulled.
Because of that insecurity, you see what you have in front of you and you try to make it work and then you start second guessing yourself and it's like, this will never see the light of day because we're all great, right? Until we're proven that we're not.
Everybody's a pro till they have to be a pro.
Yeah.
And then that's one of those things. And jumping back to what you were saying about doing someone else's vision on a still side, working commercially, I would rather someone come to me with a riddle, which is what they're trying to achieve, and then I've got to figure out a solution. If I have to come up from scratch with a concept, that's where I'm like, this could go any way.
Yeah.
Do I want to commit this? Do I have enough in me to care about it enough? So, because no one's going to care about you in the end.
Yeah.
So I'm the same as you. I'd be like, what do you want to do? I could totally figure that out. This would be sick like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having some sort of parameters is helpful to get the creativity going.
You're translating. You're translating someone's mental vision into something that can be shared to mass.
And trying to decide what are the emotional things that I need to reach for that are going to translate that specific thing. Like, what does a lens flare mean?
Yeah.
It means different things to different people. And finding that common language is part of the fun, I think. But I agree with you when you walk into a project and the director doesn't necessarily have a vision for how they see the film to go. It's kind of get hit on I'm on my heels a little bit like, okay, what do I do? And it's so easy to just get comfortable. You go for coverage, your lighting is just soft and it's, directional and all these things.
It looks clean, right?
Looks good. We're good. And it's, sometimes that's what you have to do, because you're just trying to get through it and there's no other way to do it. But it's much more satisfying when you have a creative partner, and that's what I really see it as is it's got to be a partnership. It's not one person's in charge and saying XYZ, and that goes all the way down.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you got to have some sort of faith that they're calling you in because they saw something in what you've already put out there. I think the scariest part is when you don't have enough work out there and you're like, no, but I can do this. No, I can go film it.
Yeah.
Go put out a proof of concept, make a reel that can live out there.
Yeah, man. Oh man. We'll touch on this just for a bit. We'll just touch on this for a bit because I don't want to get all the way down this
rabbit hole it.
So you'll get pigeonholed, which is one side of it, right? So, you could be the guy or the person, who they do birthday cakes. I do that real good. And then you're going to end up just doing birthday cakes. Yeah, it's a joke, but it's not a joke, right? Because somebody will say, well, they're great at that. And that's what you end up doing for the rest of your career. And for some people, fine, you're making your money and like, that's a great way to do it. But the flip side of that is nobody in this world is going to make the mental leap that you can do the thing that you haven't shown.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's so frustrating. And I wish that somebody explained that to me early in my career, that if you, and that goes for almost anything, it's even the delineation between movies and TV. Well, you do TV, but you can't do a movie. It's like, well, movies are shot like TV. What do you mean I can't?
And now it's getting closer and closer to
yeah.
that. I mean, even pro wrestling is getting cinematic. What?
Yeah, man, I haven't been in that world in a minute, but I believe you. I believe you.
It's that much more accessible now. The gears.
Oh, right. It's democratized.
It's just so much easier to get into. There was such a barrier at one point. And there still is IMAX and things like that. But like, you can get a cinematic looking image out of something that you could rent for a weekend.
Sure. Yeah. I shout out to the people that are doing it that way too. Like, I know that it's really hard when you're trying to make a name for yourself, or you're trying to get yourself to a point in your career where you're being taken seriously for XYZ, right? But in that process, sometimes all you do is emulate what everyone else is doing. And that's really dangerous, because sometimes your production isn't made for that. It's not made for the idea that we're going to have a huge crew and a big set and a bunch of lights and all these different things. So sometimes it's just smarter to figure out, well, what do we have at our disposal that we can do? And some filmmakers out there are just so creative about it. There's a movie that came out years ago. It won South by. It's called Krisha. I don't know if you've seen it, but Trey Schultz, incredible director. He made like Waves and It Comes at Night. He's off to the races. Yeah. Great director. But that film, he made over a weekend, and it's told it like the film takes place over one Thanksgiving dinner, and it's like in his childhood home.
Awesome.
And it's all his family are in it, and it's just told in a very interesting way. And it's like, I look at that and I'm jealous. I'm like, that guy is so smart for doing that, and it bears out, so it's you
can't go wrong with being a good storyteller, no matter what the end result is.
Right. But even that's like flipping the idea of how are we going to do this? What can I achieve on nothing? It's like, maybe he got that camera for free, or maybe he worked at a rental house and like stole it over the week. I don't know. It's like shit like that happens a lot.
Did you ever see the movie Monsters?
Yes. Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to film where a hurricane just happened. It'll save me a ton of cost on the set.
Yeah.
But hey, look, a monsters came through here.
Bingo.
No, a hurricane just hit here, and we're filming.
Love
Brilliant.
That.
Yeah. Whenever I get into a movie, I have to know what it took, or like what they filmed it with, and I start dissecting. Like, I just saw Furiosa, and I'm just like, what was that shot? It was 74 days straight they filmed that one car scene. Yo, respect, right?
The endurance to do any of that is unbelievable.
The attention span, not getting tired of what you're doing for 74 days.
Yeah, and knowing that it's like all these pieces that they probably had in previs that they're like, okay, now we need. I haven't seen it yet. I'm literally tomorrow. I think
no spoilers. No spoilers.
I'm going tomorrow to see it. But they probably see what little piece they need. Okay, now we need the car going that way, or the person falling out that. They know what pieces they need, and maybe that takes a day to get that shot. But attention to detail and the discipline. Oh
but not even that. Think about the faith that your crew must have in you
to
go that distance because of what you've done.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, his camera movements, first of all, adds so much to the impact of the story. It gives just enough cartooniness, but it gives so much dynamic to make it
right.
I'm like, yo, whoa, you're exhausted after his movies. I love it. I love that stuff.
The energy is high, and he's like 78 years old too, which is the wild.
Is he really?
Yeah,
he looks so young.
He's up there in age, but he's out there making the most energized, exciting stuff. Yeah, and smart too, because I was reading all about Fury Road when it came out, and one of the technical rules they placed on themselves was to center the action always.
Oh, interesting.
So framing wise, they always kept the characters very close to the center, because they knew that it was cutting around so much that they wanted to focus to always stay there. So you're almost never crossing the line. You're never, never going to run into a wall or put yourself into a corner if everything's kind of center frame, which I thought was a really interesting way of doing it.
It's also knowing what you're doing, right? That's incredible.
Yeah. Oh, that takes confidence for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff going in the chat. We're not ignoring you guys. There's a bunch of stuff going on in there. What's going on? Sasha, Paul, Brian, Ken. Hey, Ken, how are you, man? So any questions you guys have, please feel free to throw them in there. But yeah, Blair Witch proved it's about impact more than how much it costs. And I think we all know that. But when you're insecure of what you're putting out there, you just want to throw cash at it thinking, no, another camera, no, another angle. I think people forget what was it, Paranormal, how ridiculously dialed down that film was, but everyone was talking about it.
Oh, right. Yeah,
but then they made 5 versions of it that all look the same, and it's like, you killed it,
Yeah.
right? You know what I always think about is Ridley Scott, where he gets a bunch of cameras in one frame and films it once.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I
Napoleon,
love that
there was like 9 cameras or something. Yeah.
And they're in the shot. You're looking at it in there somewhere. You just don't know where it is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Aliens. I'm a huge Aliens guy.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? There's very few movies that have like trilogies or sequels that they all just were banging. Yes, I know Aliens 3, and after that was like, what am I watching?
I mean, the assembly cut. I'll stand by the assembly cut. I think Fincher's just like burned by it, and I think that his vibe on it is what makes people feel like it's not that great. But it's a really interesting fabric for the story, like Prison Planet. I love that.
Yeah, well,
I'll defend that movie. I think it's cool. I think it's cool, especially since that was like. I don't know how old I was when that movie came out, but I saw Alien way too young. So I've been obsessed with Alien my entire life. Yeah.
Dude, I shoot effects and creatures film, which if you want to talk about getting like pigeonholed, I was the zombie and Shutter Dread guy my whole life.
Well, that's actually, I wanted to ask you, because, looking at your portfolio, there's a lot of really impressive stuff in there. And a lot of what you have up at the top is that effects work that you've done, like the creature
just
stuff.
makes the most impact. So I'm like,
Well, it does, but it's interesting because that's not easy. The effects and makeup that people use, you have to shoot it in a certain way, and if you don't have time with those materials, like something that happens with some regularity is wardrobe will design something for a character, right, and it'll be this beautiful yellow or something, and because of this kind of silly idea that production designers and wardrobe people aren't brought to lens and lighting tests, you show up on the day and the lighting that you're using is affecting that color. And then all of a sudden you've got a very angry person on set who's like, well, I spent all this time creating that. But when you're doing FX, do you find yourself having to like put in that extra work before you even get to that shoot to like figure out, how do I light this? And I want to maintain that color. And what do I do to do that? I mean, it's not easy.
It actually is ridiculously hard. But I think I put it out there for so many years, people just take it. I don't want to say this sounds horrible, like for granted what I end up with the end result. If they saw what flaws were in that makeup, nothing's edited. What you see on my Instagram is that's how I shot it. But it's like shooting product, because you're not shooting skin, you're shooting foam, silicone, glossy stuff, whatever, right? Yeah. So I'm trying to hide flaws, highlight texture.
Flaws meaning like just imperfections in the material, I guess, or
like if there's an edge of the prosthetic and it takes you way out of that.
Yeah.
Like
with the person under there, right?
I'm done, right? Okay. I got to give them this, what I call the 7 seconds of belief. They know it's not real, but give them that 7 seconds of, oh yeah, it's a person. But
sure.
I after doing this for 15 years, and because I've shot for so many beginner makeup artists at schools where I do 30 of them in a day, and I only had 10 minutes per makeup, you get pretty fast on what you need to do really quickly. Get in that
your
pocket.
Experience level, you just know kind of what you're up against before you even walk in the room.
But before I started doing it, when I was doing it, like if you want to talk my year one, I was emulating movie posters, man. I was looking at comic books. I was looking at Fight Club. I was looking at anything that I thought, any John Carpenter movie cover, like any Friday the 13th, Halloween, all that stuff. I'm just like, what about this? Not I want to emulate this, but what about this is hitting for me? So it's like the hard rim, but the rim's not white. It's cold. What does the cold mean? Moonlight. Cool. I'm still in the dark. It's a little uncomfortable. Why is it uncomfortable? It's staring through me. Make sure the eye connects. But then why don't I really want to connect to it? Well, its skin is disgusting. Why is the skin disgusting? Because I didn't flatten it. I got the texture out.
Yeah.
All this stuff adds up. It's piece by piece by piece by piece by piece. And I got to get it in one frame.
Yeah.
And so I take that so heavily because sometimes these makeups are $5,000.
Right.
Some of these makeups take 8 hours.
Yeah.
And then it's gone forever. And I've seen too many photographers shoot it flat because they're worried about showing imperfections.
Sure, yeah.
And then I'm like, what did you just do to this?
Yeah.
And these makeup artists don't know any better. They don't even know what the makeup could look like.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, that's walking into a set with confidence because, you can't just light for every possible scenario, right? You have to choose. You have to pick a lane. And if you're not aware of what it is you're walking into, then you better hope, cross your fingers, right?
I think no matter what you're doing, you kind of fudge it, right? Like if I have these 4 lights and these types of modifiers, if I move them close, it does this. I pull them back, it does that. If I change the angle here, like I've seen you on set, you're like, hey, do these lights blink? Cool, make them chase and we'll make it look like a concert. Like you're working in a
Yeah.
parameter.
Sure.
But I think after you have enough get out of jail free cards, as I call them, in your pocket.
Yeah, you make those mistakes on smaller things that don't matter. So when you get, when you start working on things with money, then they're not going to fire you.
So someone's actually asking you, how do you think creative every day? Like, how do you flex that muscle?
Oh man, that's the hardest thing. This has got to be a common question on here, right? How do you think creative? I honestly, I'll tell you what helps me is, and maybe this won't work for everyone, I try to do something that's fully outside of my field. And that is like,
Dope.
that is the hardest thing because you spend so much time perfecting, reading, researching, practicing, all these different things. Like something that I don't think enough people appreciate is that this is not just a job. It's an identity for us, right? We are the thing.
It's so true. Though.
You can't escape it.
It doesn't shut off.
It doesn't shut off, but it's also like, I'm a filmmaker, right? You know, it's like, that's who I every day when I look in the mirror, that is what I do. It's just part of who you are. It's your identity and you're never going to escape that. So finding something, you know, for a while, my hobby was like taking pictures. Like you see it on my website. I've got and it's like, okay, well, I'll shoot film because I don't get to do that a lot, but that's so adjacent to what I do. I got just exhausted by it. And it's like, I need to find something fully different from this. So it's like, go for a bike ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I took sewing classes.
No kidding. That's great. I love that.
I was like, I don't understand fashion, but I appreciate it. I went
sewing for like creating like costumes or something like that. Not because I know there's like sewing where you can sew on the canvas to do a picture, or not that kind of sewing.
No. I literally went to the Met costume exhibit. It was Magnus Machina. This exhibit blew my brain apart, and I had no idea what I was looking at. And I was like, how hard is this really to do? Yeah. And so Mood Fabric has free sewing classes if you buy the kit. So I bought the sewing kit. I went to the class. I made a bag. And I was like, this was really hard just making a bag. I'm totally down.
You have to find something that's tactile, right? Yeah. I picked up whittling. Like that was it was the
How
thing.
How bad your hands get cut up?
The first couple of times pretty bad. Pretty bad. But it's something that's tactile and you can go kind of zen with it, right? And I think that's where you can kind of plumb the depths of the creativity, right? Is when you start just kind of not realizing that you're just in the mode and you're not thinking about literally anything else can give you ideas. Or the idea of like, for me, biking around or working out or whatever, it just relaxes you. It calms you down. You're not just in this constant state of agitation. And that's when I think you can actually, not you. It couldn't be you, man. Yeah, it couldn't be you.
No, for me, those are more like palate cleansers than thinking creatively.
Sure. Well, but it opens the door is what I mean. Like that's how it happens. And honestly, beyond that, I'll tell you what makes me so happy to be here is that this is literally like top 3 things I love in the world is drinking coffee because I'm addicted to caffeine.
But in the film industry.
Yeah. I know a few people who don't. And I'm like, who are you? How did you do this? It's impossible.
You just feast on the blood of virgins?
I have no idea how you managed to do this. But sitting, drinking coffee, and just bullshitting about our industry, I love that. It's so much fun.
The drama queen. You
man,
love the gossip.
Well, it's not the gossip. It's just like, let's talk tech. Let's talk movies. Let's talk anything. Let's just talk about the job. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me what you're inspired by. Tell me what you're struggling with. Like those sorts of conversations, man, will get my brain going and get me excited to go home and start working on something.
Well, one thing I try to work on a lot, and part of it is this show, is trying to get other perspectives because we're so stuck in the way we're seeing things, how we would do it. Then just understanding someone else's perspective. First of all, you'll be a lot less aggressive to other people who don't think like you, and you really grow as a human being. But I mean, to just throw something in left field to clear your head, because I don't know if it works. This happens too. I feel like it would though. I just notice light at different moments of the day, and I get stuck for a second. Like, how could I recreate that? Wait, it's gone. And then I'm stuck in like my mind.
Yeah, it'll go, or sometimes you'll see that light and it will justify your craziness on set. 100%. Seriously, it's not a joke. You'll see light come in one window and it'll be this sort of amber, beautiful orange directional. And then you look at the window next to it and it's like an ambient blue. And it's like on set, you look at that, well, that doesn't match. That doesn't make sense. But you see it in the real world all the time. And you shouldn't second guess those ideas because maybe it means something creative in the moment, or but it's like it'll justify it, and it happens. I don't think you can go through this career or this life, this profession, without just being marveling at what natural light does.
Yeah.
Every day.
The problem is that people are, when they're watching a film, are getting movie magic filter on them, right? So one thing that drives me nuts is people that light nighttime scenes awful. You know, it's blue light. No, there's no light. Find the pockets that would exist. Find the TV that would pop on.
Right.
What would that look like?
Yeah.
When they just light it blue and you're like, how is the moon that bright? Like, stop this. All right.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, because you look at like 90s
sitcoms.
Well, not sitcoms. No, honestly,
they turn out
just like
the light, but it's still lit.
like I'll give you a good example for a show that I think still looks great to this day, even though it feels like TV, is The X-Files. If you look at the way that they do their night exteriors, that light is not motivated from anything, and it's more about contrast, and they do that blue moonlight thing that you're talking about, but we accept it as being nighttime because your audience is willing to make that leap of faith with you.
Yes.
And I think something that kind of irks me these days is nighttime scenes where it's just so dark.
Well, that's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it because I was able to see it just fine, and it felt like it was a good creative choice, and I liked it. I know that's probably controversial, but it's just sometimes you're just looking at something and feeling like, well, they just are too scared to put up a light to give you a little bit of contrast because it feels fake or something. But there's only a handful of movies I feel like that do the modern moonlight really well. Like, I don't know if you saw The Northman, but Robert Eggers is another great filmmaker whose anything he makes is going to be worth going to see. I feel like Lighthouse and The Witch. I don't know if you saw
Lighthouse.
Yeah. But they did some moonlight sequences in that film that I was like, this is the first time I actually feel like this is how it feels when I'm outside in the countryside or something and the moon is shining. It's very smart.
No, I think it's, when I like it to be dark is when they're using the darkness as a tool to disorient me for the storytelling.
Sure.
Which is what a lot of lower budget horror movies do really well, because that's really what they're leaning on is, and Halloween 1 did it amazing.
Yeah.
Where if you watch that film, there really wasn't that much action scariness.
Yeah.
It was just heavy, dense shadows, and she's standing there and you're like, what's in that shadow? And your mind is going crazy.
Yeah, what is it about that movie that still holds up? I've seen it
It's
100 times, and every time I watch it, I still get anxious.
I love it.
Don't know why. It's
Dude,
like, it's so good.
When Rob Zombie tried to recreate it, I was like, good luck, Holmes.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't believe he was even going to try it.
Don't try to touch the greatness like that. You can put your own spin on it, and I think that's fine.
When people ask me about my favorite horror films, I just always go right to it. I think it's just so...
Halloween is your number one?
Not number one. I can't ever pick a number one because there's different type of like scary. There's uneasy, there's gross, whatever. But there's something about a guy that's like, why couldn't some guy that's bigger than you in a mask be in that shadow?
Yeah.
And goodbye.
Yeah.
You know, it got crazy as it went along.
Sure.
The lore of it got a little crazy, but that's
because he got up at the end, right?
Well,
spoiler alert. Oh my God.
Did you hear where the lore went with that whole thing? Where it was a tribe?
Oh no, I don't follow
it
that
was
deep.
like, dude, I'm like, just stop. I should have stopped. I should just stopped going is what should have happened.
It was 4 a.m. and you just couldn't. And it was,
you know, it's crazy. You know, I like video games a lot. I play a lot of Mortal Kombat. It's like that. They always put horror characters in their games because they get dismembered anyway.
Oh yeah.
So they get the rights to them all the time. And they had Mike Myers, and I was like, they cartooned it up so hard that I was like, I guess what I like is the movie more than the character.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know?
Yeah.
And games too, by the way, I get a lot of lighting from them.
Yeah. Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, well,
nowadays.
Not only that, and I guess this isn't something you have to work with too much, or maybe you do, but like Unreal Engine and doing virtual cinematography is like, or it's a real thing. So like lighting in a game world to extend your set into your real world, matching that lighting for video walls and all that stuff. It's well, you have to.
How are you feeling about AI creeping in?
Oh man, we're going there.
I got to now because I feel like everybody has their own take, and I don't think we've had a cinematographer give me their take.
Okay, listen, AI is a tool, right? And we have to adapt to some of the things that it will offer that will be great things. I find most of the fully AI generated things that I see very uninspiring.
Yeah,
I feel like I can pick them out, you know, and it's like, I don't think it's that interesting. I think it's a little gross, to be quite honest, like when people are, you know, making things on the back of other creative people that have spent their lives honing a craft. I don't like that. But I'll tell you what I love, and maybe I'll get in a little bit of trouble for this. I don't know, but Gen Z has become accustomed to calling AI art boomer art, and I think that's the greatest thing that could happen for the movement, is for the younger generation to generally reject it as a real way of just like, from scratch, I'm creating art, and like that's all it is.
I think younger generations are at a point where they're growing up in an era of transparency.
Sure.
They don't want polished. They want genuine.
Right.
They're shooting film. They're shooting
Right.
point and shoot. They want just what is there.
Yeah.
I also think AI is in this weird moment right now where it's kind of like, but look at what it did instead of what it is.
Right. Yeah. It's such a tough conversation too, because you know that there are going to be positives that come out of it. There's no way. That's impossible. Like, AI is going to do very positive things for the art world, probably too. But I think it just comes down to how humans decide to regulate that and also respond to it, and if they're going to engage with that, or you know, how greedy and how I guess how people will go without care for the people who are just going to like lose their livelihoods over it, because you know that there are executives that are just looking at the dollar and they think, well, great, I don't need all these people anymore because I'll just do it with AI. But I think it also bears out to people are moving away from superhero films finally, you know, and they're looking towards artistic endeavors and original ideas. And
They've had enough junk food for a while.
Yeah, and I think AI maybe feeds into the junk food for the moment. It's going to change, and who knows where it's going to go. But
you're a smart guy, you know, suck up to the machines before the other overlords.
Oh yeah, I sent an email that said, "What can I do today to help AI?" Just so when they comb and they gather all that data, they know that I was on their side a little bit.
When they make me a battery, I just want to live in a comb up a beautiful life with some just nice and rich and easy.
Yeah, you think
you're
going to be a battery? We're not good enough to be batteries. We're just, I don't know.
Did you not watch The Matrix?
I did.
The great prophecy of what will happen.
Of course.
What I love about that movie is they didn't see that they were going to get rid of landlines. They said all this amazing things are going to happen, but we're still going to have these landlines.
Aesthetics, you know. I don't know.
I thought Matrix was going to be like the Star Wars of our generation, and it didn't get to that level. I feel like it's a mass culture thing, but it didn't get Star Wars level.
I think that's what happens when you have these incredibly talented people develop something over the course of many, many years, and it becomes very successful. And then the powers that be, the executives, say that made a lot of money. Do it again.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Yeah. You saw the latest Matrix? Did you see it?
I did, yeah.
What'd you feel about it?
It's forgettable.
Cannot remember it if I tried.
Yeah, forgettable. But, you know, I appreciate the fact that Lana, right? She decided to do it because they were going to do it anyway, with or without.
Right.
And I think I respect that choice to say, well, I might as well, even though I think people probably aren't going to like it and it's not going to be worth anyone's time to do it. I'll do it. I might as well, you know. I respect that.
And it fades away, and no one's really.
It happens too often. Like True Detective was a great show, right? And
the first season,
it was great. And then it was just. It fell off because they said, you know, you have a creator. I spent 10 years developing this great idea, and then all of a sudden do it next season. We need a new season like that. And it's like, art takes time. Like, calm down. I think everything we all just need to slow down. That's what I want. Is we're just inundated. It's got to come out fast. It's got to come out free or cheap. Disposable. It's second screening, which I hate that. It's like,
I get it.
Sorry, we're not going to make your show because people won't be able to vacuum to this show. I'm sorry. It's like, what are you talking about?
Look at Breaking Bad. I just feel like they were like, no, this is a great show. We're going to stand by it. For the first 2 seasons, it was doing horribly. It took a while. And even after it was finished, it didn't reach a level of people going, it's incredible. If you haven't watched Breaking Bad, by the way, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, where are you?
It's sad to see shows that need a minute to get up on their feet get canceled before they really have a chance to get there. Like, you know, The Wire is one of my favorite shows of all time. I can't really imagine that show existing in this climate because that first season, while excellent, takes its pace. I mean, I gravitate towards that. I love that. I love a slow burn with intrigue, and it feels like a novel as you're reading it. But
you're romantic about it. There's people.
I know.
Feed my brain.
I know.
You know,
it's a weakness.
But The Wire in the beginning, I was like, I don't know if this show's gonna go anywhere. I was like, and then I'm like, yo, I can't wait for the next season. Like, I was so in it
because it develops, and they knew where it was going, but HBO gave them the time to actually do that. They wouldn't do that.
Pick a character you weren't invested in The Wire.
Right.
I mean,
impossible.
Omar became like
impossible.
this like icon
Yeah.
that everybody was like, I couldn't wait for his next scene.
Even Lieutenant Rawls, who's like just the hard ass guy, you know, it's like he's still interested in him. Yeah.
It's Fernandez like Cheers, Seinfeld, The Office had really bad starts.
That's true. Yeah, it is really true. They didn't get their
Family got a bad start too. I mean,
plenty of shows they stuck with, you know, instead of just saying, well, it's not getting enough hours of viewing, so we better cancel it now before. It's just a sad state of affairs.
Well, what's sad to me is that it's not all accessible anymore. Like sometimes I hear about these amazing shows, but they're on a streaming service I don't own or subscribe to. And I'm like, I'm not paying for this one show. Hopefully it'll get, you know, a deal will come through and it goes to somewhere else, or I catch clips of it on YouTube or something like that. But then am I supporting it if I catch it on YouTube? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to know how you can support the artist and not just the one percenters that are controlling it all, right? And
we're asking a lot of the audience now to take the ambition to go find the indie.
Of course,
you know,
but I think they want it. We want it. Everyone wants that. It just takes a little bit more research instead of just having it kind of come across your feed or come into the algorithm on Netflix.
We want this. We make an effort for it. But the everyday that's like, I'm a plumber and I just want to watch Iron Man, like they're not gonna go.
Yeah, but don't count them out though at all, because I think that
if they're exposed to it, they'll probably be into it. But the ambition is a lot to ask.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's but I think that's what the system wants, right? They don't. It's why directors get fired so readily these days. Is I don't think that Netflix wants you to think, oh, this is the next. I know Tarantino doesn't work for Netflix, but like, oh no, they don't want you to say, oh, the next Tarantino is coming out. They want you to say, oh, the new Netflix is happening. You know, they want to be seen as the service, well, as the creators, like the, you know.
That actually, how do you feel about Tarantino like calling his like, this is I'm only doing 3 more films and I'm done. Like, how do you feel about that kind of a decision where it's like? Because he actually said that.
He's stopping at 10 is what he said, and he's having trouble, I think, figuring out what that 10th one is going to be.
It's a big thing.
He's putting a little pressure on himself. I mean, it's fine. I don't think it means that Tarantino's gone forever. He'll do TV or something like that, and I respect it to a degree because I don't know. I'm in the minority of viewers where I always feel like things should end earlier, like.
Don't drag it out.
Don't drag it out. Yeah, just
like
because
Walking Dead.
I never really watched that show, but I can understand how people felt pretty poorly about it. Yeah,
it was killing me. In the last, there was like 2 seasons where they literally did nothing. Am I wrong? Like I don't even know how that was a talent. How they got away with that.
Can I just say that like I mentioned the idea of us just like drinking coffee and talking bullshit. I love that we're just talking about TV right now.
If this show wasn't this,
I hope this is useful. Is this useful right now?
Are you guys into it? I mean, look, you got the biggest crowd I've ever seen here. 2 people. It's amazing. No, I think what I was telling him before was the whole part of this show is if you're not around creative people and having discussions like this, you get to be a fly on a wall and even be part of it live to understand the mentality and perspectives and types of people that come together to do this type of stuff. Because in this era, what we put out there as creatives is immortal. It never goes away. There's stuff that people bring up to me from year 1 that ended up on a website somewhere going, hey, could you shoot something like this? I'm like, I did shoot that actually. Thanks for, where'd you find that? Pinterest?
Yeah.
Can you show me the page? You know, remember people show me things I shot on Reddit and I'm like, where did you find this?
Yeah.
Like that. I thought they never
doing
looked
their
my
research,
drive.
man. Yeah, doing their research.
You know?
But hey, listen, if somebody wants to pay you to do the thing that you already did, fine. Like that's fine with me. You know,
dude,
it's not that I love it, but hey, why not? You know,
I'm not sitting at a cubicle. I'm not wearing a tie someone told me to wear.
I don't see how anyone could ever be salty about working in this industry and like have somebody say, I love that thing that you did and kind of like roll their eyes at it. It's like, I say this when I'm on set or if I'm working on a show or something, I still have stars in my eyes for this. Like I love making movies. It's so much fun. Like what's better than this? Like I am a dork, man.
No, I get it. Listen, when you get to actually do what you enjoy doing, but you have to work for it. This is not easy. Nothing of this is easy, but cultivating a skill, cultivating techniques, understanding the practicality of equipment and relationships and how to work on a set and all that stuff. Once you get all that going, like you just keep going. But and you guys know I'm always exhausted and I'll always complain, but I wouldn't do this if it wasn't always in me every day, right? I don't know a life without shooting something, creating something, putting something out there, saying something. Like you only got so much time on this earth,
right?
You know, and
well,
you know,
it's too hard of a job to do it without loving it. it's the hours are crazy and the demand is crazy.
It's a crazy relationship. You
well,
hate each other, but you love each other.
Right. Well, but it's I think you hear this a lot, and it's I think cliche at this point, but you know, the day I wake up and I don't love this anymore is the day that I quit. And I think it's just true, because it's like you walk out there and it's like if you don't find some sort of inspiration in whatever it is, even if it's something that you feel is beneath you, which nothing is beneath you, you know, just what's the point? Because the hours are crazy. The competition is unbelievable. You have to stand out, but you can't be too needy. It's like navigating this career is the hardest part.
No, if you don't want to do it, someone else is going to want to do it.
100%.
But I'm also of the camp of like, sometimes it's okay to put it down for a while.
Sure. Oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
No,
and if you really just need that, what is going on?
Oh
here?
boy.
If you really need that, whoa. Okay, never mind. If you really need that, if you really need to find that reason to, like, it's like being around the same person too much, and you're like, look, I need to have a minute to miss you for a minute to even care about something. Like, same thing as me. Sometimes there were times in the special effects career where I'm like, cool, another alien. Oh, it's green. I know 14 setups for and it becomes mechanical. Mm-hmm. That's when I'm like, okay, you know what?
Time for a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
do
it's
something
mechanical,
different. Yeah.
Hey, I'm paying my rent, but it's like, am I living my life?
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes I have to go and I'll look through like B movies and try to like reclaim something I just find about not how it was shot, not the movie, but like the idea of this ridiculousness that is an alien. And I'll go, you know what? I really want to shoot aliens again.
Yeah.
You know, it's something campy,
Yeah.
something so dopey. I just want it, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of value in B movies educationally.
Dude, there's such amazing moments, like clips you can, if you ever go to Alamo Drafthouse, they pull out all these obscure clips from things before you watch the movie you're going to watch. And it makes you appreciate everything you're about to watch right there. You know, you're watching Mad Max, they'll pull up old clips of Mad Max or whatever. Or I went to go see Iron Claw, the A24 movie, and they were pulling up all these old 70s wrestling clips, and it just made you really get into the time period. Sometimes you don't need the full piece. You just need the feel of it.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
And you learn as much from things that work as things that don't work, right?
So there was a question in the chat. They were
Yeah,
saying,
let's hit some questions.
Oh my gosh, guys. I'm sorry for ignoring you. We've just been kind of going at it here.
Yeah, sorry.
So that's as a follow-up, give us your top 10 or more films to watch. What's the must-watch film list from Andrew?
Okay. I have my favorites, right? And I think favorites are movies that you could watch anytime. It's like the hotel question. It's like you're on a trip or something, you catch a movie midway, you'd finish it. Yeah. Favorite movie of all time is Alien.
The first one.
Yeah, number one.
So the first one was like a haunted house, right?
Yes.
It was like a knock in the night kind of feel. And then the second one was just like a horde action movie.
Yes. Yeah, and I love both of them. Yes. I just give the edge to Alien because I just think it's slightly more artistically drawn and it was a little more inventive for its time. And
uses the darkness like we were just
talking about. I love the atmosphere of that movie. And I also saw it when I was like 8.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know.
Yeah. We just had Alien Day, by the way.
That's right. Yeah. I'm excited for the new one. It's, you know, I've been disappointed so many times. They can't hurt me again.
Did you like Prometheus?
I like the way it looked. I like the design of it.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of stuff wrong with it.
All the Giger stuff was in there. I felt they did it all right. The one after that, I wasn't.
You know, my pet theory is about that movie is they wrote it one time and didn't look at it again until they were filming it, and then they just filmed it and didn't make any corrections.
The very last scene of that movie, I was like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!" But that was about it. I was like, "All right, cool."
Oh, the cesarean,
the reveal,
it was great. Yeah,
even the part which is the self surgery, I was like,
"Whoa, fantastic!
Whoa, this is amazing!"
Yeah,
but do you follow Stan Winston Instagram?
No.
You have to.
Okay.
It shows everything building every movie over time. The first time as a kid seeing The Queen, I lost my mind. I lost my mind.
Yeah.
You didn't think it'd get cooler. And they're like, oh my God, look at the size of this one.
There's that. Yeah. Oh, man.
All right. So that's number one is Alien number one.
Yeah. I'll throw Back to the Future in there as well. Because
Absolutely.
it's just a perfect movie and it's, you know, the pace of it and it's just fun. I'll add some film school pretension into this as well. I think Persona is one of the greatest movies ever made. Influential to so many filmmakers that you love, I think, truly. And then this is a weird one to put as a favorite because it's a challenging watch.
Forget about a favorite like to watch. Like you're saying this is a must-have watch list. But go ahead with that.
But this is on there, and I encourage everyone to watch it. It's called Come and See. It's a Russian film, Elim Klimov. I only came to it recently, within the last like 5 years or so. But it's a war movie, and it's better than every war movie you've ever seen.
Whoa.
It's the most essential film there is.
What
I
year is
think.
that from?
Oh my God, put me on the spot. I think it's like 1970 something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it had the full force of the Russian government behind it. So it's like there's tanks and it's the whole 9 yards, but it's a very hard watch. Do not go into it lightly. If you're going to go watch this movie on my recommendation, trigger warnings abound. Let's just say that. But I think everyone should watch it because it's a true, it's like war is hell, right? And a lot of movies try to do that, and I'm kind of bored by it. This movie, for me, ended that conversation. It's like, just watch this one. It's artistically drawn. It's really interesting. It's well done. One of the greatest performances ever in any film ever. See it, and then let me know what you think about it. But I put that on my list. And then, I don't know. I think I just have to talk about filmmakers more than films themselves. Like we talked about Kubrick, we talked about David Lynch, we talked about the Coen brothers. I think Lynn Ramsey is one of the greatest filmmakers working today. Claire Denis is another one that I love. So yeah, I don't know, that should give
Like the tone.
Yeah, I mean, it's, Claire Denis she's a poet.
1985, come and see 1985.
Thank you very much.
Fernando.
Yeah, 1985. Yeah, highly recommend that one. They did a 4K restoration. It's on the Criterion Collection. And if you don't have a Criterion Collection, like Criterion TV subscription, bingo, it's so good.
Okay. Wow. Man, yeah, I feel like we just went through so much. You guys just got basically a film school class through this guy. Nah, man, listen, I'm really glad we got you on. I think I even told you when I actually was on your set, I was like, I think you're doing I just think you're very talented. I think when I see the way you work, it's so deliberate, and you just know that you're going, you're not like, oh, did you want to try 60 frames? No, it's nothing like that. It was really great to watch you work, be on those sets, and it's really cool to see where you're coming from as a creator and stuff like that. You guys can check out all the links down below for Andrew's reel, his website, follow his Instagram here, and write him some notes or whatever. I'm sure he'll give you a nice novel and stuff you should watch.
Yeah, hit me up anytime. I love doing this. You want to get a coffee and talk movies, I'm always a bit.
You should come in here and teach a class.
Oh, let's do it, man.
You heard it,
I'm all
Fernando.
for it.
I got him. I got him. Got him,
you
Fernando.
me.
No, I mean, seriously, it'd be great to even just do share some work and just talk about why, where, what you think,
sure.
all that kind of stuff.
Love
That'd be great.
Let's do it.
Guys, later today, 5 p.m., we got Emily Teague doing a class on Capture One on the other channel, Adorama Events. And you actually filmed Emily Teague for the Adorama commercial.
Yeah.
So
we didn't even like none of that. Yeah.
Well, we went,
love this. We went deep on the.
You got me going on Halloween. What am I going to do?
What else are we going to talk about?
Now I kind of want to watch Halloween.
Yeah. Do it.
You know, it's a lot of fun having Halloween in the summer.
Yeah, sure.
If you just have like a horror movie marathon, there's something about summer horror films.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know what it is. I remember watching all the Saw movies in the summer.
It's like
and
so many of them.
It's so many, and only one is good apparently.
Yeah.
Just so you know, they're all. It's amazing how bad horror movies get as you go along.
Yeah.
Tales from the Crypt I watch all the time in the summer. Bordello of Blood, for some reason I'm always putting that movie on. Creep Show. Creep Show. Like, people don't understand the amount of Easter eggs that are inside Creep Show. The ashtray. I go on about the ashtray forever. I'm not going to do this. We're getting out of here, guys. Andrew, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, man. Much appreciated.
Yo, guys, follow him. And don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time here. This is episode 26. You got 25 of these to go check it back on. And we're still going to keep going with this. So check out 42 West 18th Street. Come hang out. I'm going to get him to a class. Come to that. And we will see you on the next one. Later, guys. Peace.